What's going on? It's just a pre-Sabbath day message, just a little word of wisdom. Um, for anybody that ever comes into the knowledge of the truth, one thing you're going to have to deal with is that people are going to scoff and they're going to disagree very, very, very boldly. And it's because their spirit is vexed and they can't explain it. So they act out. But this is just a word of wisdom. Because there is a strange boldness rising amongst those quick to scoff at sound doctrine, even when their biblical understanding can't support the breadth behind their rebuttals. It's not that they've studied and then disagree, it's that they've never studied and disagree anyway. And oftentimes their pastor hasn't either. So they scoff not because they understand the law, the Psalms, the prophets, or the history of the covenant people, but because what you're saying wasn't planted by those they trusted to carry the Spirit of the Most High. So they recoil, not out of discernment, but out of discomfort. The book of Romans chapter 10 verse 2 says, "For I bear them record that they have the zeal of God, but not according to knowledge." Many do have zeal. They love the Most High to the best of their understanding. But if the will of the Father is found in the words of his prophets, and they will not read them, then what they love is the idea of God and not the God of Scripture. If you've never been taught about Christ before the words in the New Testament, if you've never seen him in the Torah, in the Psalms, or in the prophets, then you're still devoid of the living waters he spoke of. The book of John chapter 7 verse 38 says, "He that believeth on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water." But what scripture was he referring to? The New Testament wasn't even written. So if you only know Christ from the Gospels going forward, then you don't yet know him as the scripture hath said. Edification becomes a burden when the one most in need of it refuses to hear. And yet, I don't teach to shame the sheep. I don't build any lessons to mock the believer. I build because truth matters, doctrine matters, and the flock has been misled. Every time someone laughs instead of listening, it proves just how far we've drifted from what the prophets actually said. So I'll say it plain. Scoffing is not discernment. Emotional loyalty is not biblical truth. And disagreement without study is rebellion, not righteousness. Most have a space in their minds where they place people they believe are men of the Lord, and they won't hear or entertain a message if the man teaching it doesn't fit in that space they've created. Look, for those that really know me, I am who I am. And acting is for Hollywood personnel. The only thing that matters is this: is the message authentic? Is it verifiable? And is it strictly from the biblical text? Because somebody is lying. And when your godly men teach, how many biblical witnesses do they bring? Or is the book just somewhere not seen? And with that, I will always extend my hand to my people in discipleship. But yet, just like you, I'm discerning spirits as well, because I absolutely will accept no Judas. Now, if there's ever anything that seems unclear, instead of scoffing, you can always ask me. If you know me, you know it's not hard to reach out to me. And I will give you an answer based on "Thus saith the Lord," where you can go and seek the information yourself. And with that, The Sabbath day is approaching. I got a hot lesson in store. It may be a little bit too deep if you haven't been following along this whole time. If you haven't been watching the videos, watching the breakdowns, you're not going to get it. But it's good for edification's sake anyway. But with that, I hope you guys have a great Sabbath. Always the last message is fear God and keep the commandments, for that is the whole duty of man. I appreciate your time. Shalom.